एडवर्ड भेरल लुकास अङ्ग्रेजी साहित्यको 19औं शताब्दीको पछिल्लो र 20औं शताब्दीको अघिल्लो भागका एक महान सशक्त र बहुआयामिक लेखक हुन्। उनले कुन क्षेत्रमा कलम चलाएनन् भन्न सकिँदैन। सबै क्षेत्रमा उनले सशक्त कलम चलाए। कविता होस् कि गद्य होस् कि पत्रकारिता होस् कि निबन्ध होस् कि आख्यान हो कि केमा उनले चाहिँ आफ्नो कलम चलाउन छोडे। कुन क्षेत्रमा उनी कमी रहे, सबै क्षेत्रमा उनी अब एकदम होनहार उनको चाहिँ जुन शैली अब र उनको त्यही शैलीका कारणले विभिन्न विद्यालय र विश्वविद्यालयका पाठ्यक्रमहरूमा उनले लेखेका कृतिहरू अधिकांश लगभग अनिवार्य जस्तै समावेश भएका हुन्छन्। त्यो के हो त भन्दाखेरि उनको एउटा महानता, उनको शैली, उनको जुन एउटा अभ्यास र उनको विषयवस्तुको जुन समेट्ने एउटा क्षमता छ, त्यसलाई कदर गरेर विभिन्न विश्वविद्यालय र विद्यालयका पाठ्यक्रमहरूमा उनको चर्चा, उनको लेखनको चर्चा हुने, प्राज्ञिक चर्चा हुने काम गरेको छ। लेखकले आफ्नो साथीले उनलाई भनेको कुरा, बताएको कुरा यहाँ चाहिँ यो निबन्धमा प्रकट गरेका छन्। उनको साथी यस्तो थियो जो धेरैमा सामान किन्ने, थोरैमा बेच्ने। अब त्यो धेरैमा किनेर थोरैमा बेच्ने मान्छे कहिले धनी हुनसक्छ त? स्वाभाविक रूपमा सक्दैन। तर पनि उसले चाहिँ त्यस्तो खालको चाहिँ अभ्यास गरिरहेको थियो अनि यस कारणले पनि ऊ असफल व्यापारीको रूपमा दर्ज भइसकेको थियो। तर त्यो असफल व्यापारीको चाहिँ एक दिन आएछ। कस्तो छ भन्दाखेरि उनी इङ्ल्यान्डको त्यो मुख्य चर्च गिर्जाघरहरू भएको सहरमा घुम्दा घुम्दै प्राचीन वस्तुहरूको, प्राचीन चित्रकलाहरूको चाहिँ एउटा सङ्ग्रह भएको पसलमा पुगेछ। त्यहाँ एउटा पानी रङको चित्र देखे। चित्र निकै आकर्षक थियो र त्यसमा कथावाचकको साथीलाई त्यो चित्र प्रसिद्ध चित्रकार टर्नरको जस्तो लाग्यो। उनले त्यस चित्रको मूल्य सोद्धा त्यहाँको बुढो भलादमी व्यापारी जुन डिलर थियो उसले भन्यो, यो टर्नरको असली चित्र भएको भए जति पनि पर्न सक्थ्यो, तर टर्नरको हो होइन निश्चित नभएकाले यसको मूल्य मात्र 10 सिलिङ। तपाईँ 10 सिलिङ तिर्नुहोस्, लैजानुहोस्। लेखकका साथीले एकछिन त्यसको मोलतोल गरे, विचार गरे र 10 सिलिङ तिरेर त्यो चित्रकला खरिद गरेर हिँडे। उनी लन्डन गएर त्यो चित्र त्यहाँ चाहिँ 50 पाउन्डमा बेच्न सफल भए। सधैँ बढीमा सामान किनेर कममा बेच्ने अभागी व्यापारी भए पनि त्यो घटनाले लेखकको साथीलाई आफ्नो भाग्य चम्के चाहिँ महसुस भयो। अनि त्यति धेरै नाफा पाएकोमा उनी खुसीले गदगद भए। उनी ज्यादै भावुक मान्छे भएकाले उनले आधा नाफा, आफूले कमाएको आधा नाफा त्यो बुढो व्यापारीलाई दिने विचार गरे। एउटा सानो चिठी र चेक खामभित्र हालेर हुलाक पुग्दा अबेर भएको र आफूसँग टिकट नभएकाले त्यत्तिकै घर फर्केर सुते। बिहान 3:30 बजे बिउजिएपछि उनले त्यो नाफा र बुढो व्यापारीको बारेमा सोच्न थाले। आधा नाफा बाँड्ने निर्णय अव्यावहारिक र बढी आदर्शवादी भएको कुरा सोचे। व्यापारीहरू कम भावुक र आदर्शवादी भए मात्र सफल हुन्छन् भन्ने कुरा सोचे। त्यो नाफा कमाएको आफ्नै पौरख र बुद्धिले हो, त्यो बुढो व्यापारीले गर्दा होइन भन्ने सोचेर उनले 10 पाउन्ड मात्र पठाउने निर्णय गरे। त्यसपछि उनी सुत्ने प्रयास गरे, तर अझै उनलाई निद्रा आएन। उनले एउटा कथाको किताब पढ्न थाले। फेरि आँखा चिम्लेर त्यही नाफा र बुढो व्यापारीको बारेमा सोचे। त्यो बुढोलाई बेकारमा किन 10 पाउन्ड पठाउने आफैलाई प्रश्न गरे। त्यति धेरै पैसा पठाउँदाखेरि त्यो बुढोले सधैँ ग्राहकहरूबाट यस्तै पत्रको आशा गरेर निराश हुनेछ। किनभने लेखकका साथी जस्ता उदार र भावुक ग्राहकहरू पाइने छैनन्। त्यसैले 5 पाउन्ड पठाउनु उचित हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा उसले सुने र उनले उचित हुन्छ भन्ने कुरा उनले सोचे र सुते। भोलिपल्ट बिहान बाहिर जान कपडा लगाइरहेको बेलामा उनले फेरि विचार परिवर्तन गरे। उनले सोचे, पहिलोपल्ट आफूलाई भाग्यले साथ दिएर यति ठुलो रकम नाफा गरेको बेला भावुक भएर अरूलाई पैसा बाँड्नु नराम्रो कुरा हो। कुनै व्यापारीले यसो गर्छन् त? यस्तो कार्यबाट सफल व्यापारी बन्न सकिन्न। यस निर्णयबाट धनकी देवी पनि रिसाउने छिन्। त्यसैले अन्तमा उनले 1 पाउन्ड मात्र पठाउने निर्णय गरे। 1 पाउन्डको सान्त्वना उपहार त्यो बुढोलाई पर्याप्त हुनेछ भन्ने कुरा सोचे र त्यही अनुसार चिठी लेखे र चिठी र चेक खाममा हाली खाना खान क्लबतिर गए। त्यहाँ उनले ब्रिज भन्ने तासको खेल खेले र त्यो जुवामा सब पैसा सुवा पारे। अन्तमा 1 पाउन्ड पनि पठाइ नसकेकोमा ईश्वरलाई धन्यवाद दिए। त्यो खाम र चिठी च्यातेर 1 पाउन्ड आफैसँग राखे। उनले अन्तमा सोचे किनबेच भनेको सिधा र सरल कुरा हुन्। यसमा कुनै भावुकता, दया, माया, उदारताको स्थान हुँदैन। एकपटक किन्यो, क्रेता र विक्रेता बीचमा त्यो सौदा सम्पन्न भयो। त्यसपछि अर्को कारोबार, त्यही पछाडि अर्को कारोबार हुन्छ। त्यो पुरानो कारोबारको चाहिँ भुलचुक लेना देना त्यतिखेर कारोबारको बेला हुन्छ। तर यो चाहिँ यति नाफा कमाएर यति चाहिँ नाफाको प्रतिशत उसलाई बाँड्ने भन्ने कुरा चाहिँ व्यापारमा हुँदैन। जो क्रेताले किनेर व्यापार गर्यो उसले चाहिँ अर्को पछिल्लो व्यापारीले जति गर्यो त्यसले उसको खुबीले गर्यो, उसको क्षमताले गर्यो, उसको चाहिँ मोलमोलाई गर्ने र चाहिँ ग्राहकलाई चाहिँ एउटा आफ्नो कब्जामा लिएर ग्राहकको खल्तीबाट आफ्नो सामानमा पैसा झार्न चाहिँ सफल भयो। त्यो उसको क्षमताको कुरा हो, किन अरूलाई दिने। त्यसो भएर जब किनबेच पुरा हुन्छ सोझै ग्राहक र व्यापारी बीच कुनै कर्तव्य र भावनात्मक सम्बन्ध रहँदैन। यो निबन्ध, यो तेस्रो विचार निबन्धको मुख्य भाव के हो त भन्दाखेरि मान्छेले आफ्नो आत्मालाई कसरी चाहिँ परिवर्तन गर्छ, आफ्नो सोच कसरी परिवर्तन गर्छ। मान्छेले अवसर पायो भने अथवा पैसा उसको खल्तीमा भयो भने, उसले नाफा कमायो भने कस्ता कस्ता खालका सोचहरू चाहिँ उसको मनमा आउँछन्, कस्तो भावनामा मान्छे बहकिन थाल्छ र अनि पछाडि चाहिँ उसको मनले कसरी चाहिँ आफ्नै मनले उसलाई चाहिँ कसरी चाहिँ ठेगानमा ल्याउँछ। यिनै कुराहरू यो तेस्रो विचार भन्ने एडवर्ड भेरल लुकासको निबन्धमा चर्चा गरिएका छन्। एडवर्ड भेरल लुकास was an English humorist, essayist, playwright, biographer, publisher, poet, journalist and short story writer as well as an editor. He was a prolific writer, most celebrated for his short essays, but he also produced verses, novels and plays. This versatile English writer was born on 26 June 1938 and he passed away on June 26, 1938. This writer's contribution is included in most of the English courses, and Thoughts is most canonized text that is taught in colleges and universities, where students discuss different aspects of its humor, aspects of his psychology, human psychology, and kind of bargaining that is done while selling and buying things, how fool they make each other while buying and selling things. Such things are commonly discussed and slightly intended here in this writing. If we look at Thoughts. So today we are talking about E.V. Lucas Thoughts, and you are learning this through my YouTube channel Bachelor and Master English. I would like to welcome you all to my today's class, and you have already known we are discussing about E.V. Lucas Thoughts, a very humorous essay. And before I begin my discussion, I would like to request you all to subscribe my channel. If you are new to my channel, please like, share and comment on this video as well. Let me tell you about the essay itself. First, we are learning about the essay. The essayist E.V. Lucas claims that when one's mind is taken over by selfishness, there is no end to consider and reconsider. The narrator rightly admits that the story principle lies in dealing with his own soul. The essay also discusses the realistic human psychology that rules the world of business, where the seller and the buyer are trying to find themselves, trying to fool themselves. Um, the essay Thoughts is a gentle satire on our civilization, especially Western civilization, wherein money-minded people are befooling others. Money making has become the main motto of modern man and modern generation, let's say. The title of the essay, Thoughts, a humorous and ironical coinage, is based on the idiom second thought, which means a rethinking of an opinion. The essay claims that when one's mind is taken over by selfishness, there is no end to think and rethink. The narrator rightly admits that the motto of the narrative lies in bargaining with his own soul. The essay also pinpoints the practical human psychology that governs the world of trade, where the seller and the buyer try to befool each other. The title is apt and suggestive of the fact that there is no end to consideration and reconsideration when one's mind is taken over by selfish thoughts. There is the substance of the essay, Thoughts. This is the story or the essays. This is subjective essay, and it can be called the story as well. This is the story told by the writer's friend. He is a small businessman who used to buy products at expensive prices and sold them to the very cheapest. He is a very idealistic person. However, the narrator's friend was not a successful businessman. But once he became successful because he bought a painting at 10 shillings and sold at 50 pounds. Then he wanted to share half of the profit with the dealer. Later he thought that it was not practical. He decided to give him just 10 pounds. He again thought that the dealer would be happy if he did not get such letters every day. Then he thought that 5 would be enough. Then he thought that he would send the dealer 1 pound accompanied by a brief note of thanks. Finally, he dropped the idea of sending any share from his profit to the dealer. Next, he thought that if he gave him a large part of the profit, the goddess of business would be angry. At last, he decided to give him only 1 pound. As he played bridge disastrously, he lost all he had and could not post the letter even. Then he concluded that the buyer should not share the profit with the seller. Buying and selling are perfectly straightforward matters between dealer and customer. Eventually, he tore the envelope into pieces and threw it and thought with a clear mind that sale and purchase, that is where the relationship between the customer and the dealer is over. They try to extract as much as they can. Once an item is purchased and paid for it, there is no obligation of any kind left in any side. So, the old man does not deserve even a single penny reward. This true concept occurs in business. Without profit, no one sells anything, and without some consideration, no one becomes ready to buy anything. Thus, with this change of fate, the friend changed his thoughts. After the thoughts, he consoled himself that he had done no wrong by not rewarding the dealer. So, this is the summary of the text, Thoughts. Now, it's time for 4 levels of reading with the text. The first level of reading is literal comprehension. Literal comprehension. A dealer friend tells the writer this story. The writer's friend was almost a flop businessman, but once he became successful when he bought the product at 10 shillings and sold at 50 pounds. First, he thought that he would give the dealer 50% of his profit. The second time, he reduced it to 10 pounds. The third time, he decided to give 5 pounds. Then he thought that he would send the dealer 1 pound accompanied by a brief note of thanks. Finally, he dropped the idea of sending any share from his profit to the dealer. Next, he thought that if he gave him a large part of the profit, the goddess of wealth would be angry with him. At last, he decided to give him only 1 pound. He played bridge so disastrously that he was glad he didn't post it. He was under no obligation. The incident was closed. So this is literal comprehension. Now, interpretation, the second level of reading. This story tells us about the changing state of human mind and the business policy. On the other hand, there is no emotion, feeling, sympathy, etc. in business. After transaction, there is no obligation left between the trader and customer. But in business, impulsive sentiments do not work at all. In business, profit-oriented motive is forceful. Through this beautiful essay, E.V. Lucas tries to express his arguments that buying and selling are perfectly straightforward matter between seller and buyer. This also tries to say that all human beings are impulsive by nature. The essay also wants to interpret that people should not think more while doing good things. He also makes fun of human weakness and foolishness through this personal essay. And it's time for critical thinking. To a large extent, E.V. Lucas' essay, Thought seems realistic. However, we can still raise some unsatisfied points after reading this text. How does it seem real when the narrator's friend says that he bought in the very expensive market and sold in the very cheapest? Is he as idealist as mentioned in the story? How can we believe that the selling man has not informed about their goods or products? Would he have sent half of the profit had he got stamped at night? And is it possible to find such an idealistic person like the writer's friend in the business sector? So these are critical thinking. And finally, assimilation. After reading this story, I had insights of myself and other people in society. Whatever we may do, we are so enthusiastic at first. We think that this powerful desire will make the task incomplete. I've understood how business transactions are made. The credibility sinking in material interests leads to destruction. Peace and happiness will be far unless we will be faithful to each other. This also tries to say that all human beings are impulsive by nature. Our determination or will come to nothing. Besides, I have come to know how our mind functions. In nutshell, I came to understand that it is easy to preach but difficult to practice. So that's the end of my today's discussion with E.V. Lucas' most popular essay, Thoughts. If you have any queries, please put your comment in my comment box. I shall be back with other educational videos and other chapters of different discussions. Till then, goodbye, have a nice day.